Hi, everybody. It's Whitney. I just wanted to record a little update to offer you all through my YouTube and through my podcast platform. So last week was the first week that I didn't release an episode in over a year. So it felt kind of funny and I miss it. And I just wanted to offer something as I am taking a brief reprieve, a little respite from recording and releasing my Women Waken podcast episodes. Again, both audio and video on my YouTube. And while I continue to do interviews, I'm starting to sort of reevaluate. So that's what this video is for, is just to kind of share and give an update about why I'm taking a break and what is coming up for the show in the future. So also to note, in the meantime, I'm going to be doing this sort of reevaluation, doing analysis and looking at logistics, analytics of my show so far, and kind of trying to tweak it and figure out what's the best way to allow it to reach more people and have it be more searchable, because I really believe in this show. I love this show. I love speaking to individuals who are doing beautiful work that's a part of the transformation and change that's happening on this planet at this time. And that's a part of this future that I myself and many others have a vision of the way that life can be, and that we don't have to live this way anymore, where there's a big emphasis on a lot of suffering and sickness and addiction and self-destruction in general, and moving towards a place of greater peace, community, and joy and freedom. And so what I'm really trying to do is figure out the main theme of my work. What is it that all of the various people that I interviewed, what is the connecting thread between all of it? What is my theme? What am I all about? So anyone who's kind of taken a creative pursuit and put themselves out there has to, at some point, sort of tailor and fine tune their focus, right? Because otherwise, if you're kind of all over the place, which there are so many things that I'm passionate about and care about, but I realize that what's happened is that in doing so, it's kind of made it difficult for people to follow along or kind of get a understanding of, you know, what is this really about and what can I rely on to hear about each week if I tune into this show. So while I do believe in the content, and I've actually absolutely loved having all these amazing guests, and I think it's very valuable and a wonderful resource, I want to just kind of figure out, what do I want to do moving forward? Because it truly is, I believe, my calling, and the work I want to do is doing podcasts and spoken word and holding groups and panels and different ways to get the word out about visions and ideas that many of us have at this time for a new way. So with that said, that's all the stuff I'm going to be working on behind the scenes. But what I'd like to be putting out is I'm going to continue collaborating with people and putting out little mini episodes with some of the women that have been on my show previously. In the next few weeks, I'll be doing a mini series with the wonderful Kayla Von Egdom around women's sexuality, feminine sexuality, and kind of exploring, you know, where are we holding ourselves back? What is the fear around, you know, feminine sexuality? And what does it mean to step into our power? And then once we do, how do we delve into our pleasure and get the most pleasure we can? So those are going to be little episodes that I release in the next 3 weeks. We're going to do 3 episode series. We're going to do a few series together. And I hope to collaborate with a few other of my previous guests. So with that said, I'd also like to share a little bit about my personal life. As you can see in the background, I have a beautiful snowy wonderland outside of my new home, my temporary home for the next 5 to 6 months, up in Oregon, Central Oregon, and it's just beautiful here. If you all might have caught on to, because almost every single one of my podcast episodes in the past year, if you watch the videos at all, they're in a different location, and I talk about that a lot as well, so you might have heard it if you listen to the episodes. But I have essentially been living the gypsy life since October of 2021. I moved out of a studio that I had in the Bay Area and began traveling the country, going to over 18 states, staying in Airbnbs, over 50 over the course of a year, and exploring so many different beautiful places: Arizona, New Mexico, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Florida, up to the Pacific Northwest, just all over the place. And it had always been my dream to do a major road trip and really live on the road and be just traveling all the time. And I just adored it and loved it. But there is something to say for the energetic tax that it takes to travel, right? To be on the road, to not have your your foundation, your home, right? Sort of that root chakra energy, to not have that base of stability. And while I do love that life, it only allows for so much additional energy capacity for creative pursuits, right? So the most I was capable of, which was still wonderful, I'm so glad I could do it, but was to keep the show going, right? To find guests, to interview them, to edit, to put out content. And I was able to do that, but I couldn't really go any further as far as like thinking about, okay, is what's working, what's not working? Should I change anything? Just, the things that you do when you really kind of have more of that creative capacity to dig in. But now that I'm going to be put for a few months, I want to do that evaluation. So that's a little bit about me and my situation. The last thing I'd like to ask is, if any of you who have listened to the show regularly, or even just heard a few episodes, I would so greatly appreciate any kind of feedback, whether it's what you really enjoyed, what episodes you've really liked, what didn't you care for so much. And obviously I can't tailor to everyone. And, it's such an interesting thing that you face when you offer a creative outlet, right? Is you want to stay true to yourself, but you also want to offer things that connect with others. So you try to find that balance of, what do I put out in the world that's, true for my heart, for my essence, but that also lands with people, or that I do it in a way that is coherent for people. So any feedback is super helpful. I would absolutely love if you could email me. My email is whitney@womenwaken.com with any feedback, messages, ideas, what you'd like to see more of, less of, reasons why you have watched the show, reasons why you stopped watching the show, anything like that. You can also just, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can put it in the comments below this video. Just any kind of feedback is so greatly appreciated, because as I said, I really hope to grow and expand my work as a podcaster, as a speaker, and as, holding groups and forums for discussion around what I believe is important and contributes to change. I think that change happens when we first speak to something. Speaking is the first step, right? First, we have an idea. We think, you know what? I wonder why this is that way and how it could be different. And then we speak to it and we bring that to the world, and then others take it in and it gets them thinking, and then it creates, a cascade of change. So I believe that my part in this is the speaking portion, is the generation of, feelings and ideas and concepts that we can start to exhibit and bring to life and be a part of this catalyst. So thank you so much for watching this, and just know that I will be releasing an actual episode next week. I'm going to try a short form. That's another thing I'm going to play around with. Is so far, when I do my interviews, I just love to just let it go and have it be relaxed. But I realize that sometimes when people see an episode that's over an hour, they are immediately a little bit kind of turned off because it's a big investment. Some people just prefer shorter 30-minute episodes because it kind of gets to the point quicker. So any feedback on that as well, if you would enjoy shorter episodes, or if you like the long format. And really, I'll probably do a mix of all things, but I just would love so much to hear people that have listened. I also want to really incorporate more communication with my audience going forward, getting more feedback, doing episodes that are based on audience's questions, listeners' questions, and expressing what they want to hear and offering that. So again, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you all are having a beautiful beginning of winter. Today, I'm actually recording this on the full moon eclipse, the blood moon. Very intense time where, we already had the eclipse last month for the new moon, and now we're in this time, and it's just a lot going on between now and the end of the year. So I encourage you to, make sure that you're conserving your energy, taking care of yourself. And I generally feel that although I think that new ideas and concepts have opened up, like doors have opened up, that it's still not quite time for full-blown action. That's what I feel. So if you're feeling like you've got these ideas stirring and these new things that you're starting, that's fantastic. But if you're maybe not feeling quite ready to execute, I'm feeling that too. And I feel like that's kind of the general thing for the rest of the year. And then 2023, we'll just have to see what happens with that. I think a lot's going to bust open. Anyways, thank you again so much. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for subscribing and watching my YouTube channel. And I would absolutely love to hear from any of you who are listening to this and have anything to say, or have enjoyed the show at all, or have any feedback. So I wish you all the very best. My biggest blessings to all of you, and best wishes for a beautiful rest of the year. Take care.